Formative assessment can be used to drive instruction based on what students are learning. This video will show you 3 different ways and times of a lesson that you can start using it in your classroom. Our first example is at the beginning of a lesson.
Welcome, class. Let's see what we already know about cells before we start talking about the various parts of the cells again. All right? What I want everybody to do is come up with 3 sentences as your answers for this warm-up and share it with our Google Forms that we have here in just a second. If I go ahead and change this, you see this. And so think back about what we've already learned with cells and cells-related content, and then for each group, I want you to think, pair, and share 3 questions for each 2-person groups. And we're going to submit those sentences right there to that Google form located right there on the board.
What do plants animals repair?
To carry out nauseous.
As I'm walking around, I'm hearing some great discussions today. Let's look over at the smartboard to see what each group came up with for their warm-ups.
Our teacher here used a Google form to collect his information. This form of formative assessment at the beginning of a lesson allows the teacher to understand students' prior knowledge needed for the current lesson. Now let's take a look at an example of formative assessment during a lesson.
We're going to be going over parts of the cell cycle today. The cell cycle is the parts of when the cell divides from 1 cell into 2 cells, as you can see here. All right? We will be learning about the actual part of the cell cycle called mitosis, where the cell actually splits from 1 cell into 2. And it's very easy to remember the parts of this by simply looking and remembering these 4 letters. P-M-A-T. P is for prepare during the prophase. Your cells start to migrate to the middle to prepare to split in 2. M is for the middle during metaphase. All right, they start moving to the middle. The chromosomes line up in the middle of the cell. A is for apart during anaphase. You've got this cell here. They start to slowly split apart to begin to come into 2 different cells. And then the last letter T is for 2 cells during telophase. This is when the cells actually have split apart and have formed 2 new cells. All right, guys, for our activity with this cell, with this mitosis process, we're going to be doing a card sort activity today. All right, so this is what I want you to do. Everybody listen up. I don't want to have to repeat myself a dozen times. The first thing is I want you to individually place the image cards from your baggie in the correct order of mitosis. Everybody got that? Okay, so place the image cards in the correct order of mitosis. And then you're going to place the name of each phrase with the correct image next to it. So you've got the order, you've got the images. Next, place the word to remember what is happening next in this stage next to the phrase. So it's kind of like the graph we saw a couple of slides back. That is what you do. When it's completed, check with me or check with your partner before you check to me. And then finally, take a picture with your device for later for you to view. Whether it's your phone or your iPad, whatever it is, get it out, click it, and then you can go back and study it and look at it back later using that. And that is our activity for today. Are there any questions?
Our teacher here used a card sort activity as a form of formative assessment during the lesson. As he walks around the room, he can easily check for understanding and make any changes based on how well the students are able to sort the cards. Finally, let's look at how you could use formative assessment at the end of a lesson.
Great job today, guys. Our student outcomes for today were to learn the stages of the mitosis portion of the cell cycle. And as you can see, we did that. We were able to identify the different phases visually. We placed them in correct order. We even named each phase of that. So kudos to that. Before we leave, we have one last thing. We're going to go to our exit ticket website. So on your devices, go to www.socrative.com and log in with our room number 22471. All right, you guys need to go there and log in and do that. We've done that several times. There are two things that you need to do. Make sure that you explain the four phases in order, all right, of mitosis portion of the cell cycle. And then on question 4, you need to list the words in order of the phases that you need to remember to know what is happening in each stage. All right, that should not take you very long. That is very easy. We learned those specifically today. So you guys need to get that done so you'll be ready to get out of here when the bell rings. All right, thanks guys.
Here our teacher used the website www.socrative.com as a form of exit slip for his students. Using formative assessment at the end of a lesson allows him to see what his students have understood from the lesson and where confusion may still exist in order to plan for the next day. For more information on formative assessments, go to this site. Thanks for watching and have a great day.